welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. I have had a wonderful break. I am back with a beautiful brand new mould from Moulds and Shapes. This is their Druzy Edged tray. If you are interested, of course, you know I am an ambassador for Moulds and Shapes, and your discount code and the details will be down below. Now, you would have already seen this mould floating around. I know that Petra Gerbracht has used this a couple of times. It's got a stunning crystallized Druzy edge, and the first thing I thought of was Northern Lights. Now, if you've been with me for more than a few weeks, you'll know that I delved into the world of UV DTF stickers. Oh my goodness me, I found these. These are a whole selection of Aurora Borealis Northern Lights UV DTF stickers. These are designed for your cups. If you're making cups, they are cup wraps, but guys, they work stunningly in resin. This one here was screaming out to me. I felt like this would work the best with the mold, so I am going to try my best to color coordinate. We have got a selection of resin dyes. Now, these are not alcohol inks, they are not opaque pigments, they are transparent dyes. This is what's going to give you that absolutely stunning finish on that Druzy edge. I've gone for the green, the blue, the purple, all of the Northern Lights goodiness. And like I said, they are transparent so that we're really going to get the full effect of that crystal. So first up, I have mixed up some resin. This is the Apex resin from Just For You Online. Again, all the details are down below. And into each individual little cup, I'm just going to pour some of that resin out to divvy it out. My initial thoughts were get the edge done first and then think about it, because I really just knew I wanted the colors. I wanted those Northern Lights, those typical Northern Lights colors anyway, around the edge. And then after that, I was just gonna go with the flow and see where it was taking me. Basically, into each cup I've poured 2 drops, and you can see the difference between these resin dyes. Some of them float out themselves, they disperse themselves, and like that luminous green just sat on the surface. So yeah, they're very different and yet the exact same product. So after I mixed them up, I toyed with the idea of adding more pigment. I didn't want to add more until I'd mixed them up. So each pot got 2 drops. Apart from this one, the luminous green, it really needed a lot more. I needed a lot more in there. Equally, I still want them to be as transparent as possible, so I don't want to put too much in, but I did put an additional 3 drops into this one. All the others just got 2 single drops of that clear pigment. I absolutely love that green. I think it absolutely screams Northern Lights, and I knew it was going to work really well with the sticker. Now, in between all of it, I was bringing the sticker back in, kind of looking at it like, have I matched the colours okay? Are the colours going to work well with it? Yeah, just making sure that I was going along the right tracks. Now, when it came to pouring, I didn't really have a plan apart from pouring them in separately, a little bit of blending, a little bit of overlay, but making sure that that initial pour was going to give me some separation in the colours. Again, resin does what resin wants, so this will all eventually blend, but I did want some separation initially, and it got to the point where it was just a free-for-all. It got to the point where it was like, do you know what, just pour it all in, Claire. You've got to use it all up anyway. They are going to blend, but I didn't want to fully blend them. Hope that makes sense, but you can see me here just trying my best to keep the colours separate, but it got to a point where I just couldn't do that anymore. So I just had to pour where I poured and hope that the end result will still show some colour separation. But deep down, I had no idea if it still would, because again, resin does what resin wants, and I didn't know if one pigment was going to take over and dominate, or if they were all going to behave and like play good, or if I had to put them on timeout. Do you know what I mean? As it turns out, they did stay separated, they did not blend too much, and we have got a stunning result. But here you see me just using up the dregs of that resin. I really wasn't sure what I was going to do on the background at this point. The sticker is not big enough to cover the space. So I figured, hey, you know, it's going to get a sticker on it, so we might as well just use up all of this resin, no waste, get it all in there and just spread it out. I didn't want to make up more resin at this point because I wanted this layer to fully cure before I did anything else. So again, this is just me using up the resin, and you can see here it's just not enough. It's not enough to cover the base, and I'm okay with that. I really wasn't looking for that at this point. So just spreading it out was pretty pointless. Pretty pointless. But here you can see me just, yeah, comparing it to the picture. Have I matched the colours? I felt like I'd done a good job of matching the colours. And again, this is 24 hours later. So everything is fully cured at this point. I'd made a decision on how I want the background, and it's going to be a combination of crushed mirror glass and these glitters. Now, these glitters were recently sent to me by uCrafty. If you guys were with me about a month ago, I finally used some of the products that were sent to me by uCrafty, and I went on their website, on their Etsy. Oh my goodness, I ordered loads more stuff. So I ordered some polymer clay pieces for Valentine's Day, which I ended up not even using. Oh my gosh, the time just flew. So uCrafty did actually put these two glitters in for me, so thank you so much to them as well. Stunning colours. I mean, if these do not scream Northern Lights, I don't know what does. There's a combination of chameleon greens and blues and purples in here, and I just thought they would work absolutely perfectly for the background. Equally, I wasn't entirely sure what result I was going to get from the crushed mirror glass. What I didn't want to do was use an opaque colour on the back of the Druzy section because I didn't want to lose the stunning transparency. I didn't want that Druzy section to suddenly not be transparent anymore. Equally, if I put in some crushed mirror pieces, will we get any reflective stunningness? You know, will those mirror pieces add to the absolute beauty that I knew would be that crushed crystal effect Druzy edge? So I just thought, hey, what's the worst that can happen? It comes out pretty and we don't see the mirror glass, or we do see the mirror glass and it adds some kind of reflective properties. Who knew, right? So I was just playing around at this point. At this stage, I thought I would drag some of that crushed mirror glass back towards the edges, but then I figured, you know, I'm not going to spend too much time doing that because we might not even see it in the end anyway. So I figured I would just leave it as is. Now, in with the glitter background, I am going to mix up some mica. I wasn't sure if I wanted it fully glitter, or if I wanted a combination of dark, moody, grey background skies. Kind of matched the sticker a little bit. Didn't fully match it, but that was okay. Equally, if any of you have used glitter in resin, you will know that glitter takes over. Despite your best efforts, glitter will often take over. So this section here, I would say, was almost also not worth doing separately. I poured some of the glitter in. The glitter is quite chunky. When I use glitter, I like a lot of glitter. So I poured the glitter in, and then I kind of went in and out and around that glitter with the mica powder. So you'll see as I progress, as I keep going, I'm pouring them in separately, but actually I ended up just zhuzhing them all around with a stick. So again, this was kind of like a pointless exercise, but I think we learn as we go, and as we're doing a project, it evolves, and it turns out not following the same route that you started off with, you know. I was just gonna leave it at this point and walk away, but it was irking me how bulky the glitter was, and I wanted it flatter, and I was also worried about those mirror chunks sticking out. So I thought, do you know what, Claire, just get a stick, smush it all together, smush it down, and what will be will be. It turns out the background of this is completely grey. That is the mica, and the glitter did what glitter does, and the glitter sank. So we've got some stunning results. Now, when it comes to demolding this mold, you really want to go slowly around those edges. That Druzy edge is so detailed. You don't want to rip your mold off real quick because you want to go slowly, making sure that you don't, you know, damage your silicone mold in any way. At this point, it looks like a giant frosted gummy sweet, doesn't it? I mean, it just does. But stunning, absolutely stunning. I love the fact that I can see lots of different colours in that Druzy edge. Really, really happy with that. I think I can see some reflective mirror, but of course that Druzy edge was fully cured by the time I put the mirror on. So I'm wondering if putting the mirror inside the wet Druzy edge would have made more of an impact. Not sure. Equally, we've got stunning crushed crystal effect around that Druzy edge. Now, when it came to the sticker, I didn't want to just stick the sticker in as is, because we've got one kind of like irregular edge and then the other edge would have just been cut with scissors. I didn't want that. So I am using my rotary blade tool to get another irregular edge, if you like, almost trying to match that irregular edge. Equally, I knew that I wanted to disguise the edge a little bit as well. So maybe hindsight, it wouldn't have really mattered. I could have just used scissors to get a wobbly edge, if you like. But yeah, whatever was working for me is what I was doing at the time. So it was a bit fiddly, but it was all completely worth it, because oh my goodness, it absolutely couldn't have just been a straight cut edge sticker. It wouldn't have fit in anyway. So here I am just laying it down. Now, as soon as I laid it down, I knew I couldn't leave it like this. It was too prominent. It was too much of a contrasting edge in those pinks, yellows, greens and purples. Of course, you can just clearly see that this is a sticker and it wasn't good enough for me. I couldn't just leave it. So I knew I had to disguise that edge anyway. And again, being a UV DTF sticker, it does have that plastic protective layer over the top. So make sure you're peeling those off. If you are using UV DTF stickers. I absolutely love this at this point. Like, that Druzy edge is just everything, and I wish my camera was doing it justice, but it really isn't. I would take it out into the sunshine, but we had about a week of beautiful weather. It promised us spring vibes, and then suddenly it's gone grey, dark and moody again with lots and lots of rain. So here I am. This is time to disguise somewhat. Not disguise, but blend in. Make it a little bit more blendy-wendy, you know, and just get it a little bit less of a harsh outer line. So I'm just using some Let's Resin, UV resin. And at this point I thought, why not? Why not just go for some, you know, some of the lights through the sky as well. So I've poured just a little bit of UV resin in and around the piece, and before I pour my glitter in, I'm just going to make it more random. I don't want one neat straight line of UV resin glitter stuck to it. I want it to be a little bit skew-whiffy, a little bit hey, a little bit higgledy-piggledy, just to give it more of an organic feel at the end. I had no idea how this was going to turn out, or even if I was going to like it. I'm not going to lie. I put in some of that gorgeous chameleon green glitter from Ucrafty, and I added in just a little bit of purple. So there's more green than there is purple. But equally, the colours just match this project perfectly. And at this point, I just threw it all in. I threw it on top of that wet UV resin and did a bit of a shimmy, bit of a shake to get that glitter to go all around, sticking to every bit of UV resin. Now, this was very much a trust the process at this point, because at this point I thought, whoa, I've covered the whole thing. We're not going to even see the UV DTF sticker. But I knew that if I put it in my double-sided UV lamp from Let's Resin, it's going to cure from below and it's going to cure from above. And then I can just brush off the excess, and hopefully we'll still get some of that gorgeous sticker. And of course, those black silhouette trees in there as well. Look at the side. I mean, does it not look like a jelly baby or a wine gum? Like a frosted wine gum. Oh, what are the name of those? Are they Tutti Frutti? No, they're not Tutti Fruttis. What are the name of those jelly sweets that are completely covered in sugar? That is what this reminds me of. Okay, it's time for a top coat. Now, for me right now, I wasn't sure about the glitter that I'd put through the sky, but equally there's so much glitter at the bottom, it makes that look like a field, like a complete field of gorgeousness. I'm heating it up with my heat gun to disperse it a little bit, but equally I do add more resin after this because some of that glitter was still poking through the surface, so just making sure that nothing is protruding through the surface, and I was happy. At this point it is giving me Wizard of Oz vibes. Wizard of Oz meets Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Northern Lights, you know? Or even the Outer Hebrides in Scotland. Or even here, last September when we first moved here, we saw the Northern Lights. I saw the Northern Lights for the first time in my whole entire life because they pretty much reached every corner of the UK. It was some rare weather event where the Northern Lights came down south. But yeah, this is what we're looking like. That Druzy Edge is everything. Now, funnily enough, you saw the colours that I put into that Druzy Edge. They were pretty much just transparent green, blue, purple and neon green. And yet we've got gold. We've got some gold reflective surfaces here. It literally looks like I've put gold mica at the bottom. So yeah, the science of this Druzy Edge is just mind-blowing. It's absolutely stunning. This is very, very different. It's not necessarily gonna be everyone's cup of tea. I did not really set out to put this much glitter in the surface. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I have to be honest. I didn't want this much glitter in the surface. Equally, I think it works. I think adding that through the sky is kind of crazy. It's almost reflective as well, giving it a little bit more depth. But for me, this screams hidden forest. Again, bringing it back to the fairies, you know, it screams enchantment. Enchanted forest. It screams Wizard of Oz. And I think a few of you referred to my latest green piece looking very Wicked. Now, I've seen Wicked the musical, kind of fell asleep halfway and missed the rest, but listen, I'm not judging. I know it is a much loved show, but this maybe could be that as well. So we've got a whole combination here of, you know, Northern Lights meets Norway, Denmark, meets Wizard of Oz, meets Wicked, meets Enchanted Forest. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much to Moulds and Shapes for sending this mould over to me. I have got some other ideas for this mould as well, so I do look forward to using it in the future. Imagine this in a crystal clear with like a cling film backing with something else in it. Oh gosh, beautiful. I really appreciate you all if you have been watching all the way to the end. I am really struggling not to mess up my words and use the wrong words for things lately. You guys know I am midlifing and the brain fog is real. Like the fact that I even remembered the name of this silicone mould is a miracle. I appreciate you all so much for putting up with me and the wrong words that I'm using sometimes, but I will see you all in the next video. I hope you feel inspired and I'll see you then. Bye.